Hello. Welcome to my alternate reality. I'm Victoria Pendragon, and today, because it's a gray day here in West Virginia, very, very, very cool and overcast and rainy, and reminds me a lot of New England. And so this morning I just happened to be thinking about the whales. I had a very interesting experience on a whaling sightseeing boat up there. Went out of Provincetown, and it went way farther out than I thought it was going to go, hours out into the water. And it felt to me as though we would never see anything. And at some point into a couple of hours, I got the most horrible, horrible headache, dreadful headache. And how to say, I don't get headaches. I can count on my fingers the number of headaches I've had in my life. And so it was strange to me. And I just had the feeling that I needed to get away from where I was, which was difficult, as I was hours out from land, stuck on a boat. And what I did was pick myself up and go at least down a level, away from the top two levels, where all the people were waiting to see these whales. And I had been inside in a sheltered area. I went down to where I guess you couldn't see too far. I don't know. I could see the water just fine from there. And I sat down and I just tried to not have a headache. And all of a sudden, there in my face was a whale. It breached. It was right next to the boat. I was looking right into its gigantic eye. And I was kind of spellbound. I certainly wasn't going to move because it was very close. And I just stared into its eye. And the headache went away almost immediately. My breath kind of went away as the whale submerged, at which point I noticed everybody hollering, "Oh, whale, whale," and people running about looking. I gathered above me. I sat there until the hullabaloo died down, and I had seen quite enough whale, much closer than I ever expected. And when everything quieted down, I went back upstairs. And as I was settling myself down in my seat on the boat, I heard a woman come up to the person who was at the desk kind of handling things, and she said, "I have had the worst headache." She said, I really need something. I need aspirin or something. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And I let it go and went back. The boat, picked up and went back to the shore. I went back to the motel where I was staying and crashed. I was exhausted. And as I was lying there, not asleep yet, I got what I can only call a download of information. It was as though someone were pouring information into my brain. And it was awful, awful information. It was information about the water up there. And I certainly care about this earth. Heaven knows, I love it. But I am not a person who has studied all the problems that are going on. Really, it's overwhelming to me to know all the troubles. So I don't. But I was getting all the troubles, and in some detail, about where water being pumped out of the bay, and I don't now remember where, though it was somewhere, in Massachusetts, and fish, how the fish were going to be affected, how many types of fish were going to die. It was more information than I could possibly remember. I have a very interesting memory. It's not selective. It's bad. It's bad in general for relating things back again. If I need information, it will be there, but I cannot call it up. It's very strange. So I got this horrible download, which left me terribly, terribly depressed. And the forecast was very gloomy for the oceans of the Earth, particularly the Atlantic Ocean. And I determined then and there that I never wanted to go on another whale watch again, because it was awful. But that's also interesting. Now, just this past week, I finished up a book I'd been reading called The Body Has a Mind of Its Own. And in it, the authors related that there are in the brains of humans, great apes, elephants, and whales, these cells called von Economo cells. And they appear to be, in a sense, the cells with which we access intuition. And I found it particularly interesting, given that intense connection that was formed between this whale creature, and I had never seen one before, between it and myself. And I suppose that at some level, those cells, those Van Economo cells, must have been part of the formation of the connection, having to do, as they apparently do, with intuition, which is that which you know within. And that which the whale knew within was transmitted to me. And now I have it. But it was a quite remarkable event. And as I said, one that sort of put me off whale watching. And I don't know that you would call it necessarily interdimensional. It's certainly interspecies. And I, by the way, am not a person. I'm not an animal communicator. Yeah, no. I have no idea what's going on with animals. And of course, a whale is a mammal, though, and it did communicate with me, but it has those cells, and I have those cells. So much, I think, of what we consider to be paranormal might perhaps better be described as hypernormal, I think. Certainly my study of the brain, which has been going on since 2003, in layman's terms, I study all the books I can because of my sleep magic process, which deals with reformatting, in a sense, the emotional programming of the body. And the brain has to do with that. The more they know about the brain, the more it seems that that which is, as I said, paranormal, a little more understandable. So, embrace what you have, embrace your gift, embrace what the world brings you. And I think that's it for today. Enough of whales. Anybody who wants to know a little bit more about me can go to victoriapendragon.com, check it out. And thanks for watching. Bye.